Behind me is what I consider to be the most beautiful car ever made. Have a look at this. Welcome to the Porsche 911 993 Turbo. And we're back. Welcome to the new video, guys. You join me here today at the Man Cave, affectionately named after my mate, the caveman. You know, man cave, caveman, do the maths. The only reason we're here is because it's wet as an otter's pocket outside and the car needs some work. It wouldn't be a Faz Macson video if the car didn't need any work. Luckily, it's not much work. We only need to do the front bump stops. Now, I've done the passenger side. Unfortunately, I lost the video for it, but we're going to do the driver's side in any event. I'll show you the process on how that's done. We'll then take the car out for a blast and we'll do a bit of a review. But before that, we need to fix it, don't we? So let's get cracking. First off come the wheels. I'm being careful here. I really don't want to scratch those red calipers. You can see there where the bump stops perished. Let's get it out, let's change it, and we'll get the car on the road again. I use a screwdriver to pry up the plastic casing that holds the connector block for the brake pad wear sensors. I undo them and push them to the side. Then I undo the wire that's attached to the shocker. It's a bit crusty, but it came out no problem. Down the car goes. Oh, this is so much better than working on the floor and rolling around. Up the bonnet goes. Undo the 4 bolts holding the shocker. There's then 2 bolts that hold the shocker to the hub itself. One is an Allen key and one is a bolt, which is a bit weird. Right guys, we've hit a bit of a problem. This right here should lock this nut into place to prevent it from spinning when I tighten it or loosen it. But if you look at it, it seems to have snapped just here. Try and get focus. Just here. So I'll have to try and get it off. I might be able to put a spanner on the other side. And then we'll have to order another one from Porsche. But it is what it is. So I tried a workaround. I shoved a spanner on the back of it. I wedged it against the drive shaft just to get a bit of purchase, and with an impact gun, I actually managed to get it off. Because there's a brake line that actually goes through one of the brackets of the shocker, I didn't want to disconnect that because then it would have meant I would have had to bleed all the brake lines. So what I did was I managed to separate it from the top of the car and just tilt it forward to get access to the top mount. I clamped the shocker itself to stop it spinning whilst I undid it with my gun. Now I don't have to worry about the top mount coming flying off because they're progressive springs and they're actually quite soft at the top. Once I get the top mount off, I can then get access to the bump stop. Off comes the spring, and then you can actually see how bad the bump stop was. It was really perished. Got nice shiny new ones from Porsche, both bump stop and the gator. So that goes in there and out the top there and just holds like that. Back on we go. Rebuild time then. Stick everything back together. On goes the cap, followed by the top mount. I push it down, like I said, the progressive springs, so I can do it with just the force of my arms really, and then gun it back on. The top mount then goes through the 4 holes at the top, so I can lower the car down to bolt them in. On goes the 4 bolts at the top, that should hold the shocker secure. And then it's back in with the 2 bolts that hold the shocker to the hub. Now, I phoned Porsche, gave them the part number. It's ordered, but it's going to take a few days now. We really need to drive this car and I need to get it out of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean it up, I'm going to weld it, and then when the new part comes, it's a 5-minute job, I'll just change it over. The bracket goes in a vise so I can get it ready for welding. You can see the crack just here. Now the weld won't stick unless the surface is clean, so I clean it up with, well, what's left of this wire brush. I mean, look at the state of that. These are the tools Caveman has. And then we weld. Now guys, I am no welder, but I needed to do this to get me out of the situation and the car off the ramp. I mean, it's not my best work by far, but given the tools I had, like the wire brush semicircle, I ain't done that bad. What do you see happening here, guys? That's the bolt going in. Only means one thing, my welding worked. You can see here that the repair held up quite well, to be honest. I'm quite proud of that. Onwards and upwards. Everything gets plugged back in and clipped back down. New bump stop fitted, new boot fitted. A little weld repair somewhere down there. And we're good. Ready to put the wheel back on now. You know you're coming to the end of a job when you're putting the wheels back on. It's such a great feeling. You just got to make sure you don't scratch anything. And look at that, I used a torque wrench. And then we put the carpet back. The Caveman then decided to join me and ask me one of life's most important questions.
It's in that mop, shall I keep it, right?
Keep it. And that's the Porsche done. Only means one thing. Take it for a blast. Headlines. 408 brake horsepower. 398 foot-pound of torque. 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. Weight. 1,498 kilo, powered by the masterpiece that's behind me, a twin turbocharged 3.6 litre air-cooled flat 6. They're figures you don't hear nowadays. Nowadays it's 1,000 horsepower, 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds. But that's not what this car's about. Believe it or not, this car wasn't that popular when it came out. The 964 aficionados said it was too rounded. They preferred the more angular shape that you found in the 964 and the 930 before that. They said it almost looked overweight. How they were wrong? This car has to be one of the best aging cars ever made. It's like if Salma Hayek was a car. She's only got better with time. Kind of, if you know what I mean. And it has therefore become one of the most desirable 911s in history. You've got the 959 and the Carrera GT, but we can't forget, they're not 911s. The only real rival for this car when it came out was the Ferrari 355. Now, don't get me wrong, that's a very pretty car, and I never turn one down. But even reviews at the time said the 355 just couldn't keep up. And that's reflected in the prices of them today. You can get a nice 355 for sub 150 grand. One of these, minimum £300,000. There'll be some people that say, oh, it's only got 408 brake horsepower. My RS3 on my Golf R has got far more power. And they're not wrong, to be honest, but on principle alone, that's a bit like asking your mother to give you a lap dance. After all, she is a female, and most probably so is the lap dancer. But they both do things slightly differently. One was made to do this, and the other one has been made. The main question I get asked when I'm out in this is, what's it like to drive? The power is raw and boosty. It's old school. You know it's old school. You put your foot down and nothing really happens for a second or two whilst those twin turbos spool up. But when it gets going, my God, is this thing fast. It propels you forward in typical 911 fashion. It just gets gone. It's not a particularly loud car, but that's what gives it its presence. It's precise. It's not shouty like a Lamborghini or tenor like a Ferrari. It's not noise for the sake of noise. It's precision. And people who are after that sort of thing, they always seem to buy Porsches. It's the type of people that buy this car. It's very, very German. Driving this thing is analog. The steering, well, you'd be forgiven after stepping out of a modern car to think that there is no power steering. Now, there is, but it's heavy. But what that provides is constant information from the front tires and the front wheels as to what's going on. You can practically feel the road surface through the steering wheel. It's direct, it's pointy. You can throw it into a corner with conviction and you know where that front end's going. As for the back end, well, we'll get to that. But it's very, very precise. Now, the pedals in this car are close together. If you wear shoes bigger than a size 9, you're gonna struggle. But the reason for them being so close together is to make heel and towing easier. You don't have to shift over as much. It makes rev matching very easy. Now, if you don't understand rev matching or heel towing, then it's not really the car for you. They made this car to be driven, not slow, not around town. Things like that tell you they made this car to be driven fast. Saying that though, the clutch is light. It's not, for example, like a Diablo where you need both feet to change gear. It's as easy as driving a Golf. But don't let that fool you, and I'll come to that in a second. At low speeds, you'll be forgiven for thinking that the gears are notchy, but that's just it, isn't it? Low speeds. This car's not meant to be driven at low speeds. When you're on the boil and you're coming out of a corner in second gear, for example, and you reach for third, it becomes mechanical. You can feel the distinct connection between your arm and the feel of the gears. You can feel them meshing together, kind of thing. And that's a disconnect that we have in so many modern cars. Everything is automatic, DCT, SMG. Everything's very fancy. In this car, it's just your leg, your foot, your arm, and the gear linkage. I'm not saying it's hard to drive, because it's really not. It's as tame as a Golf. Being four-wheel drive though, it lulls you into a false sense of security, because if you really want to push this car, mate, you better be awake. That rear engine hangs over the rear axle. It acts like a pendulum. It will catch you out if you're not awake, I can promise you that. The front end might be direct, but the way this thing is balanced, is different to any other car you'll drive. But if you respect it, you take your time with it, show it a bit of mechanical sympathy instead of just jabbing at the throttle like you see in these so many videos where the guys have elbow deletes like this. It's utterly glorious. And you'll sit in this comfortable leather seat that hugs you in just the right places. Saying that, the seat is positioned absolutely perfectly. I'm sat nice and low. I can reach all the instruments. The gear shifter is lower than you'd think, but adds to the character of the car, and visibility is great even with that rear wing over the back. Ferraris and Lamborghinis of the day had very, very poor visibility. They were made infamous for it. That being said though, for visibility, I can't see my fuel gauge. That's not because it doesn't work. It's because this car has some quirks, and being gold, it's going to. The pedals are so far over to the left, as is the steering wheel. Unless you've got spina bifida, it gets uncomfortable after a certain period of time, generally on long drives. It's nothing that a little Mike Tyson head movement can't solve, but it is one of those things to factor into consideration. I've been a Porsche fanboy ever since I was a little kid. We used to go to my cousin's house, who had a PC with the game Grand Theft Auto on it. One of the very early editions of Grand Theft Auto where it was only in bird's eye view for some strange reason. But on his table was a little Matchbox model of a 993 Turbo. That's when I fell in love with one. For me, that was the ultimate pin-up car. And that's what it was. I had pictures of these cars all over my bedroom, all in my textbooks at school, in my desk at school, even in my locker at school. I was a proper Porsche fanboy. It might not have had the flair of a Ferrari or the brashness of a Lamborghini, but that's exactly why I liked it. I could almost picture this car wearing a suit and just doing business all day. And that's exactly what feeling it gives me. It's non-compromise, it's sophisticated, it's not showing off for the sake of showing off. That brings me on to maintenance. Now, I know maintenance for this car isn't that bad actually. Ferraris of the same era, for example the 355, want a cam belt every few years, and that can get quite costly. Even if you don't drive the car, owners want to see it being done. This car, I'd budget a couple of grand every year to spend on general maintenance. Porsche do actually look after their customers, their classic cars customers, quite well. That's until things go wrong. Now, this car in recent years had a bare metal respray. In that process, it was decided that the seals around the windscreen, rear window, and driver and passenger side windows would be changed. Do you want to know how much that cost? £4,500. So, yeah, it gets expensive. This car, if it goes wrong, will burn through notes quicker than you can count them. But what you do is you do the typical man thing. You live off hopes and dreams. You tell yourself this is German, so it won't go wrong. Obviously, that's just a fact. And then when it does go wrong, you do man maths, because that makes everything better. In that sense, I mean, don't tell the wife. So what's my verdict? Well, let's start off with price. A decent one of these is going to cost you between £300,000 and £400,000. Now, it sounds like a lot of money, and it is. But if you compare it to the equivalent supercars or sports cars today, that's the same price as a Temerario or a 296 GTB. Now, no one buys these cars for practicality. No one thinks, oh, I'm going to buy this car because I can fit 2 kids in the back. This car is all about feel. Owning cars like this is all about emotion. No one says, oh, the Porsche does better miles per gallon, so I'm going to buy that over the Ferrari. That's absolutely not true. You only buy these cars if you want them. It's the way they make you feel. It's nothing to do with practicality. And that's what this car does in buckets. It's all about emotion. It's rewarding. That's the best thing this car does. Yes, it goes fast. Yes, it looks well. But chief amongst all the benefits of this car is how it makes you feel. And that's the only reason people buy these cars. So for me, there's absolutely no contest. It's always the 993 911 Turbo, unless we're talking about a Carrera GT, but that's a different story. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Unfortunately, I can't show you that, but the fuck am I talking about? Where did I put that little screen? Valide 6, good map.
You want it?
No, I've got one.